Very nice. All right, I've got 10 on the dot over here, so let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to our second Real Talk about real estate. My name is Michelle, and I'm the marketing lead for the ABR designation. I am so excited to be joined today by Michael Straley from the eXp Realty Go Straley Group and a 2018 inductee of the REBAC Hall of Fame. Today's Real Talk is all about new home construction. Take it away, Michael.
So, Michelle, I was thinking overnight, and guess what? All homes were new construction at some point, right?
Very true.
Didn't even live there. And I remember the first buyer that I represented actually bought a cave. So I've been around for a long time. And so, you know, the cave had a great view, but a little bit of moisture in there, right? I think we solved some of those problems from that early construction, right? Everything since then has been new construction. Here, let me go ahead and cover 4 things that we're going to outline today, and then we're going to ask Michelle whether she wants to hear the good news or the bad news. Okay, and we'll see. Some people pick the good first, some people pick the bad first. So what we're going to cover today is we're not going to go into the whole new home construction class. We only have what, Michelle, about 20 minutes or so. We can save that for later. You know, all those talks about the cisterns and the brothers and the HVAC and condition space and alternative septic and well tests and insulation and R factors, all that. Nah, we can't get into all that. Too many details. But we are going to cover what we've seen in the new home construction course is that most people don't know their value proposition. So that's number one. We're going to talk about value proposition of a buyer's agent representing a buyer in new home construction. Number 2, what we're going to cover is how to get ahead of things so that your buyers do know that you add this great value. So what that means is you have to have a readiness program. The readiness program is really, in today's market, you have to talk about new construction first. It's the first thing you should talk about. The third thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the new signature that's going. We're going to see what's called COVID, pre-COVID, and post-COVID construction. Okay. Normally what happens is a big event. This is called a formative event. The formative event means that there's going to be things different than what they were before. So people will start talking. You'll see they'll talk. Is that a pre-COVID house or a post-COVID house? Okay, and it's going to be different, and only new construction or renovation will accomplish that. And then we will cover the added value in the navigation, that the fact that the sales funnel that the builders create favors them. It favors them. So that will tie back into the value proposition, but you have to include that in your discussion with them. So we're ready for our good news and bad news. So there's the 4 things that we're going to cover today because they're the most valuable. There's the ones that are going to put money in your pocket, and that'll keep your business humming. So Michelle, good news or bad news?
Bad news. I always say bad news first.
Okay. So here's the bad news right there. 38%. I don't know why 38% is bad news, but I went ahead and read the 2020 profile of home buyers and sellers. I'm not sure if anybody out there in the audience knows how many pages that is. It's 180 pages, okay? But it's beautiful, great information. You guys should download that. You can download it for free these days, right? I think it used to cost money. Download it for free. What I found out was 38% of the new home buyers didn't have an agent. Didn't have a buyer's agent with them, okay? It's bad news for them, but it's also bad news for us. It's bad news for them because if you read the book, Negotiating at an Uneven Table, what happens to most people that are not familiar with something is they go into it, and then in the middle of it, they become disoriented. I think it's on page 36, not sure. But they become disoriented, and then they're too embarrassed at that point, and in case of this, they're actually contractually constrained that they can't get the help that they need in the middle of it. It makes me kind of tear up there, Michelle, a little bit, that, you know, they're stuck in that transaction. Then they call a realtor, and the realtor goes, you should have called me earlier. But here's the deal. The realtor should have prepped them earlier, okay? And so with that being said, that's a bad news. So the other bad news, Michelle, is when you do the math on the commissions, There's about $80 billion a year in real estate commission. That's about, you do the math on this, I did some math, about four parameters in it, $2.2 billion left on the table, Michelle.
Bad news.
Would you like to have a piece of that, Michelle?
Sure.
2 billion, yeah. So
Nice.
That's the bad news. So here's the good news, Michelle. The good news is that a lot of buyers agents are going out. I actually have a listing coming available tomorrow. We're in coming soon status, and the buyers are lining up, sometimes 20 deep, sometimes 30 in some areas because of lack of new inventory. The good news for buyers agents is they can skip the line. What do they call that? I think when you cut, you get what, cut in line, right? They can cut in line, right? I don't know if they call it skitching or whatever, but
I don't know.
Yeah, they can cut the line and go right to the builder, and the builder will say, guess what? As long as you make an appointment, I can build you a house. Now, we're even getting some of those new constructions doing sellouts. So the urgency is there in the marketplace. So there's the good news and bad news. So what we're going to prepare you for is those 4 things. Not all the details about new home construction. There's tons of them. So number 1, the value proposition. Here's what it is, Michelle. And this is so simple. It's so simple. Part of our job here is to say, hey, that's normal, right? They haven't been through it a lot. And then sometimes what we do is we go ahead and say, nope, that is not normal, okay? And we're gonna do some pushback on that. We're also going to make a huge, huge financial impact to them to say some things that you do in that property are gonna be valuable and some not valuable. So let's give an example. There's a thing in real estate, it's a principle, and it's called market expectations. And so if you build a home that does not meet the market expectations of a wide market, those decisions that you make could narrow your market and you could lose money when you go to sell. The worst phone call that you get from people is, you didn't tell me that, okay? So later when you go to sell their home, you wanna make it clear to them when they're building it, this is either gonna add value or detract value, okay? And so I'll tell you what, for anybody today that would like, all you need for new home construction are these 4 things. For anybody that would like to have them, today we have a special, $9.99. If you do gostraley@gmail.com, I will send you not only 1, but 2 sets of these for $9.99 on St. Patrick's Day to make you some green. That's really all, Michelle, that's really all you need as a value proposition. Now, getting back to one of the other value proposition, or one of the other things we're going to cover is you got to get to them fast and first. Okay? You got to get to them fast and first. The reason is because the builders have done what? They've put up tons of signs with arrows on them. That's the beginning of the sales funnel. Your clients drive down the road and they follow the signs and they wind up in the model home. That's part of the sales funnel. And what do you find in the model home? What do you get in there?
Popcorn.
Popcorn, right? So it's like following that trail of popcorn. And then when you get there, Michelle, there's popcorn there and drinks, right? All kinds of things. And it's fun. And they dialed out the model home like unbelievable. So it's so much fun. It's nice. It's lit up. People are happy. Next thing you know, you wind up in the sales office. The sales office goes, they show you the lots available and they tell you how fast they're going. So they created this sense of urgency and they talk to you about this wonderful lot. But guess what? If you don't do it today, that lot won't be available tomorrow. Next thing you know, your clients have amnesia. They don't remember that you're working with them. Next thing you know, they dial you up on the phone and say, you're going to be so happy. I'm under construction on a new home. And you're what? Blindsided by that. And so what are you going to do? You're going to act happy, but then you're going to understand that, hey, is there any way for me to get involved in this? Because what? At some point they're going to be disoriented. They're going to need your help, but now it's too late. Okay, so we call it the ahead behind strategy. So you better get ahead of this, otherwise you're going to look like a behind. Okay, and new home construction, especially in today's market. Let me share something with you on the screen here, Michelle, and everybody that is watching here. I'll go ahead and do my screen share. And this is, let me shrink this a little bit. This is the pace of new home construction. And so I'm going to share this, share my window. And this will illustrate to you. You see that on the screen right now, Michelle?
Yep, I can see it. Thank you.
Okay. So all the way back into 2000, the year 2000, most builders were putting out about 1 million plus homes a year. Okay, and we can see the big real estate abyss. You can see that huge dip where they stopped. Really, what's interesting about this is if you search for homes that were built between 2009 and 2011, you have a very small amount of them, very small amount. Even 2008, because the builders didn't build a whole lot, right? And then gradually they've been recovering. So people are surprised, why do we have so low inventory? Well, the builders historically, they really got burnt during the housing abyss. And then what happened is they gradually recovered. You can see finally we're getting some spikes going on from this crazy out of control demand that we've seen. And so this explains why we're running behind. I'm gonna share one more thing with you here, Michelle, and this is interesting, very, very interesting about new home construction. So let me get this one going here.
All right. And
so share my screen. And this one is quite interesting because we have a lot of naysayers saying like this is, can you see this one?
Yeah, I can see it.
The real estate market, this is from an economic book. The real estate market trails the economic market. And so the real estate market peaks. The dotted line peaks after the economic market. Now, what's really strange about COVID, which surprised everybody, which is why the housing market went through a dip and a lot of the builders put things on hold, because they knew this principle that real estate trails economics markets. So they froze some of the construction for a short period of time, and then they realized that this economic situation was going to be short-lived, and then they started building again because they were behind even further. And so so we've been behind on this. And so this, as we get into this economic recovery, the real estate market is peaking up again. So we have years to go on new home construction, and we have record low inventory. Great news for all the buyers agents that are sick of standing in line, losing offer after offer after offer because there's 20 people deep trying to get the property. Go to new home construction, and this is the value proposition. It's going to have a new signature. Some of the new signatures are going to be living quarters on the first floor, multi-generational living. Michelle had pointed out some people were actually going away from the open concept a little bit more because, well, we have clients that are doing virtual presentations in their property, in their homes, and the children are, and so there's noise going everywhere, driving them crazy. Right? So we have a musical chair of housing, and here's what they get to build the new signature, the post-COVID into their house. Beautiful opportunity for them. And so, Michelle, share a little bit with us about we're not going to go into the new home construction class, but share some of those ABR and REBAC benefits of some of these courses. You get that pedigree that I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
From education.
Sure. So as Michael mentioned, we actually do have a course. It's a REBAC elective called New Home Construction, and it is available online, and we're calling it these days live rather than in person because, you know, currently we're not teaching in-person courses because of COVID, but we are doing live streams. So that's instructor-led courses, and actually that instructor-led course is being updated and should be available early April. So be sure, if you're interested in learning more about new home construction, you can take that course at Training for RE, and I can post the link after this. And we also have more resources as a REBAC member. You can check out the TBR, Today's Buyer's Rep, and the March issue actually was about new home construction. So I highly recommend anyone watching today to check that out.
Yeah, so Michelle, we talked about market expectations a little bit earlier, and market expectations mean that when a buyer goes into a subdivision, and let's say the price point is $600K in our area, one of the things that clients can sometimes make mistakes on is they say, you know what, I only really need 2 bathrooms in the upper level. And so this just happened to me a few months ago. And I said, okay, that's fine. But here's the deal. In this neighborhood at this price point, buyers in the future, and buyers actually right now, expect 3 bathrooms on the upper level. It only really costs, I think, from that line item, maybe $6,200. The problem is the market expectations in the future may penalize that house by sometimes $20,000, $30,000 because A, they can't find a place to put that bathroom, and B, if they have to renovate, it really doesn't turn out all that great, and it's expensive. And so these are big moments in new home construction where you can really help your clients navigate, save them thousands and thousands of dollars. Another thing is we get to see hundreds, if not thousands, of homes. They don't. We go through this all the time. One thing that can happen also is you may see something that is a great design idea in another home, and you can bring that to the builder and say, hey, how come you guys aren't doing it like this? I'll give you an example. We had one client that had a main level living. They had the owner's suite coming right off the family room. You open the door, you could see right from the family room right into their owner's suite, right? So if they didn't make the bed or whatever, it's looking sloppy, all the guests looking right in there. Oh yeah, they could close the door, but what if they forgot? Well, what we did was we built like a little entryway, a little alcove, right? It wasn't that much effort to do. The builder actually didn't even charge them anything because they liked the idea. And now you look in there, it's like an entryway. You see a picture there. They hung a picture of me, actually joke, hung a picture of me there. We'll roll with the joke. And when you walk in, that's what you see, a little entryway, and then you take a left and then you're into the owner's suite. And they love it. They love it. They will remember you for things like that, where you better their life for all of their future while they own that home. And guess who they're going to call when they need to sell it? Okay, so that's all market. All these things we can add value. Construction class. You build relationships with all the builder reps. So step number 1 for all you guys out there, the ahead behind strategy is you go out, maybe there's 20 some builder reps out there in your area. You go see them all. Okay, you build relationships with them all. They get to know you. You talk about your buyer business. You talk about their business. You act interested in them. Most of them will talk because they're very friendly people. Very friendly. They're part of the sales funnel. They love talking to you. You may even promote them. Take a video with them, right? Take a video with them. Have them explain what they want to do. They can tell their boss that, hey, we had a real estate agent came in, posted a video of me and them promoting our value. What do they want? They want marketing, right? And so they love you coming in and paying it. But here's the deal, you're building that relationship with them. So just if your client goes in without you, now what we do is we give them a little digital card, even physical cards that say, hey, for new home construction, I'm represented by, the Straley Group. They take it with them, they give it to the builder, okay? And so that's preparation work that you wanna do. Now, you give one of them also to the builder reps while you go visit them, and they're going to say, what's this? And they're going to say, I've never seen this before, because what it is it's specifically about new home construction. So you build a custom card. You can go to Vistaprint, $10, big deal, right? You can even snapshot it on your phone, text it to them. They go in, it's like a pass. I'm represented by Michelle Collins, right, for new home construction. So you say specifically new home construction. These are the type of things you want to do. Yeah, you attend the new home construction course. We'll talk all about bricks and weep holes and everything else that you want to discuss. But these are business building steps that we need to accomplish. Otherwise, we're going to be part of that 38%, that $2.2 billion left on the table. Not a good thing. So before we wrap up today, I'd like to see if there's any questions, and then we'll close with the very important thing, part of your value proposition, part of that sales funnel that your clients really need to know before they wind up signing on the dotted line without you. Do you have any questions out there, Michelle?
I think most of them have been answered. Some were wondering, where they could get the report that you mentioned, and then also the link for signing up for that new home construction course. I think we took care of
Ah,
those, but
okay.
if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to leave a comment for us and we will answer that if we can. But right now, I don't see any currently.
Okay, so Michelle, we named this class the 411 of new home construction. Should have been called the 911 because we're in a complete out of control market, and we're probably going to see that continue. I mean, the only thing that could squelch it at this point is higher interest rates, because if people want to understand why we got here and how we got here, well, when they lowered interest rates to try to spur that economic situation, it created about 2 million new buyers. We saw the charts. The builders aren't even building. They're trying to get back to that 1 million homes a year in the United States, and they're not quite there yet. Okay, they're creeping up on it. But with 2 million new buyers and 1 million new homes, we have some shortages out there because 1 million was normal. Okay, and so people should not be surprised at this. Most of us probably, if we'd done our homework, we should have been able to see it. I'm going to give you one more topic. We're about 20 minutes. I'll give you one more thing that we will share in the new home construction class. So this one's free, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. Let me do.
Michael, we actually also do have a question from Cheryl.
Okay.
If you want to
All right,
take
well,
that
I'm
now.
going to share this one thing because it's very
Okay.
powerful. This is something that all buyer agents should know about. It's a principle, and a principle is like a law. It's your friend. You can depend on it. It's reliable, which is one of the biggest things in real estate. Can you see that there, Michelle?
Yep, I can see it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the way I remember it is sort of like a great steak, USDA, right? But this is what's going on in the mind of every buyer. They go to look at a property, and they say utility. This is what's called marketability for anybody that's writing, taking notes. If you're not taking notes, you should be. Marketability is a principle. Every buyer's brain is thinking this. How am I going to use the property? What it's going to be like day to day? What's life going to be like in this property from a usability, from a utility perspective? And they're going to score in their brain. So we built a little chart based on this principle. It can be found in the Appraisal Institute book, 700-page book, Appraisal of Real Property. And so this utility, usability, then they're going to say, well, what's the scarcity of this? Well, in today's market, scarcity is on everything, okay, which is really strange. This is a perfect storm of real estate, and so scarcity everywhere. And then they're going to go into desirability. Do I like the colors, the cabinet colors, the floor colors? Do I like the lighting in the property? Those type of things that are aesthetic in nature. Am I going to feel good? This is more about feelings. Am I going to feel good living there? And then they're going to measure, can I afford it, right? Well, what happened to the economic power, which created those 2 million new buyers, is the interest rate drop caused that economic power to go off the charts. No surprise that we are where we are. So scarcity got ignited by this economic power. And realize this, the interest rates are false. They were orchestrated to generate economic activity, and they're not going to stay around forever. The only way they would stay around forever is a poor economy, and that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So USDE, we went ahead and made a picture out of it. It is a principle. It's found in the 13th edition of the Appraisal Institute book. Actually, I have it right here, Michelle. I'll show you how thick this baby is.
Wow.
There it is right there. And I'll show you what I did, what I call a reverse index on it. Here's all the things that I learned. All those buyer agents can learn all these different things about it. And so 700 pages on this baby, worth every penny buying it. It's kind of an expensive book. So what was the question there, Michelle? We'll go ahead and cover that. We gave that free marketability principle. You can rely on it.
Oh, so Cheryl asks, what was your elevator pitch to a customer for representing them in new construction?
So the elevator pitch would be that you need to understand, even though the builders are very friendly, they love you, they don't represent you. You're not familiar with this. And actually the close on this will, if you really want to get fun on the elevator pitch, we'll give an analogy for that, Cheryl. And so we'll go ahead and use the analogy in the elevator pitch. So picture, so Michelle, you ever been on a whitewater? So I'd ask this to the client, you ever been on a whitewater rafting trip?
I have, actually.
Oh, okay, good, good. So there's rapids there, right?
Hmm.
You don't even know anything about the rapids. You have a guide there. The guide knows about the rapids. The guide knows how to get around the rapids. Every transaction that you go through has pitfalls, has challenges in it. Okay, here's the problem. The sales rep, even though they love you, they're friendly, they want you to be happy. Who do they work for, Michelle?
They work for the company that's the
The
builders, I
builder.
guess.
Yeah, the builder. They work for the builder. Okay, who's the contract favor?
Sorry, say
Favor?
that one more time. It kind of froze for a minute.
Who does the contract favor?
The builder.
The builder. Okay. They try to get you to use the builder's lender. They try to get you, there's good reasons for these things, but they try to get you to use the builder's title company. Okay. Builder, 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 builder. Okay. They act like your guide. The only problem is they're like a whitewater rafting trip guide that cares more about the boat than the people that are in the boat. Okay. The realtor is going to be the person that cares about the people in the boat. Okay. Because the problem, not that they don't care about you, but here's the deal. When push comes to shove, builder, 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 builder. They don't have a proponent that's been down that river just as many times as that builder has. They haven't been down the river. And so many times, as I alluded to earlier in the negotiating at an uneven table, they don't realize they're negotiating at an uneven table. They are. They truly, truly are. They have not been down this river before. And even if they have, I'm going to share one highlight after we close. Even if they have, they have not been down many times. They have a false sense of confidence. And what they're going to find is at some point, and maybe multiple points, they're going to become disoriented. They're going to become a little bit embarrassed because they have nobody to reach out to except for the person that is favoring the boat, favoring the builder. And so therein lies why buyer representation on new home construction is even more critical. It's even more critical than on a home that's already built. You can see everything. You can get an inspector to inspect it all. It's truly way more important for new home construction than it is for resale. And it's a shame that there's 90% buyer representation on resale and only 62% on new home construction. And I'll share with you a little bit of why that's true. You have to get that readiness program for your previous clients that are in the 45 to 64-year-old category. We saw that from an NAR study that a huge amount of them feel somewhat capable, and they head off to this uneven table and wind up under contract and give you a call. Great news is they'll get you to list their property. The bad news is you could have helped them through the new home construction also. So don't be part of that 38%. You gotta get to them. You gotta get to them first, and you gotta let your especially your 45 to 64-year-old category, you gotta let them know of your true value in new home construction. And you have to talk about it with them. Otherwise, they'll wind up giving you that phone call. You'll be so excited. You know what? I'm happy for you, but I would have been way more happy for you if I could have been there to help benefit you in many, many ways that we talked about. And you'll find out about more of them in the new home construction course. Can't wait to see anybody that's joining us for that next.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for your presentation today. It was very informative. And thank you to everyone for joining us. Be sure to join us next month for our April Real Talk, which is about messenger bot marketing with Jeremiah Monero. So thank you again, Michael. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, Michelle, it's time for the popcorn we were talking about.
Love it. I love it. Sounds so good.
Won't follow that trail of popcorn without your realtor.
Yes, exactly. Good advice. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.